a world where negativity, toxicity, and hatred runs rampant. Two superheroes. What? Oh, not superheroes? So like two regular heroes? Not even regular heroes? Just two dudes? Sure, whatever. It's your script. Two nerds who are sick of toxic fandom have made it their goal to rid the world of negativity, 1 hour at a time.
Shockingly large penis. Welcome back to...
It's going great.
Sorry, we were watching the first Spider-Man today, and the first time Willem Dafoe popped up on the screen, I was like, well,
that's all I can see.
Penis.
This is all the intro, by the way.
I know, it's fine. Welcome back to a penis-filled episode of Pop-timistic. I'm your phallic lord, Brent, and with me, as always, is my sweet scrotal, Anthony.
Oh, I was going to say something like Mrs. Smith to like make a Matrix pun, but okay.
Nah, this is the Dick Cast today, and with us, we've crossed streams with a third.
Oh my god.
And now we're being hurled into the Matrix, as we're going to talk about the Matrix with our very special guest, the Scrotiverse.
Scrotiverse.
I can't.
And if you heard that voice just now, you're probably familiar because he's a close friend and personal favorite of ours. Zach, the East, the Beast, the Eastman.
Yes, that's my Matrix name. My real name is P-hole. So
would have thought it'd be the other way around, but you know. Okay.
Love it. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you guys. This was a nice thing to be getting involved in sort of last minute, but I'm super happy it occurred this way because
this is great. Merry Christmas, by the way. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays all around.
Christmas. Yeah,
I hope you all got plenty of presents from that fat man who loves Coca-Cola. I hope so.
Happy birthday to my first imaginary friend.
This is not a controversial podcast at all. We're just talking about dicks and how Jesus Christ is not real.
That's not true. His name is Keanu Reeves, and he died for our sins in that third movie.
That's true. He did.
Technically, in the first one, too. Yeah, he's multiple. Oh, I fucking love that song.
Oh, so do I.
But yeah, no, we will. Yeah, we're gonna have to skip the Spider-Man talk, which unfortunately Brent could not see it because of. Just wanted to let you know ahead of time, Zach, so that no spoilies for Big Brent miss here. Extenuating circumstances, he could not go see it. But we're here to talk about the Matrix today because I have lots of feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had more feelings about the movie before I saw it, and then I realized that when I was watching it, all of my feelings aligned with exactly what I shared with you when you had mentioned the movie. So I am thrilled.
Oh, great. Oh, good. I was like, where is this going to end up? I was like, what? No,
I am 100% ecstatic. So can't wait to talk.
I'm still kind of glowing from it. Like, I almost don't want to watch it again in case that it spoils that feeling. But I was like, it was like closure to me. It was like 20 years of closure was just.
Okay. So actually, before we dive deep into it, I want to get kind of a standpoint of everyone starting with Matrix, because I think we're kind of all on the same level. I think, Anthony, you may have liked Matrix 2 and 3 less than I did originally, but I know you recently rewatched them and found a greater appreciation for them. Zach, I don't really know your relationship with the Matrix, but I assume since we're all kind of the same age, kind of similar. I remember it's one of the first R-rated movies I saw in theater.
It was not my first R-rated movie. My first one was Gladiator in IMAX.
Oh, cool.
In a theater, because it won the Oscar. We saw it right after it won the Oscar. No, The Matrix was The Matrix came to me on DVD, which was a wonderful experience. I believe this was 2002. So that because I was literally seeing the I was seeing the coverage for the sequels, and my dad ended up taking me to Reloaded and Revolutions. Cool. But so yeah, my first exposure was on DVD, and I was blown away by the movie. Awesome. Even at the age of 11, I was able to comprehend and grasp what they were getting at. For the most part, there was some stuff that still kind of floated over my head.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everyone's head.
Yeah, I think it's almost kind of impossible to fully grasp it until you've gotten a little bit older and experienced portions of life that it's addressing. But the sequels, in particular, we didn't see the Reloaded right away, and so the first time I saw Reloaded was in a small theater, like one of the tinier theaters that is at a multiplex, so like a 60-seater. And I saw it with, we went with our neighbor who unfortunately passed away about like 5 or 6 years later. So it's like a memory that I have with a really good family friend. And then Revolutions we saw in the IMAX after I was done with a karate tournament. So that was fun.
Oh, nice. That's fitting.
I did.
I went to the theater for Revolutions, and I dressed up in full Neo garb, complete head to toe.
Please tell me there's photos.
Everything.
Photos,
I believe
or it didn't happen.
There's somewhere. I mean, obviously, that's from like, what was it, high school, which was
2000,
before even the iPhone. So I don't know where those would exist, but I'm sure they do somewhere.
There's
Mom, this is your opportunity to email those photos to Anthony right now.
That's right.
Yes, Anthony's mom, please send me those photos so that I can make memes out of them. The trilogy, as far as it being a trilogy, like I liked Reloaded and I liked Revolutions, but as I got older and you're trying to like be cool and whatnot, you give into the peer pressure of like, yeah, the sequels aren't that good, but I still watch them sometimes to make fun of them. Secretly, similar to the prequels, my secret was held firm inside me, which was like, no, I really like these movies. Just like the prequel trilogy for Star Wars.
Yeah. Like how everyone else struggled with their sexual identity, we all struggled with our Matrix identity growing up.
Exactly. So like, as I've gotten older, I'm just like, no, fuck this shit. I like these movies and I'm not going to apologize for that. And in fact, Blank Check with Griffin and David, the podcast, was very instrumental in me reevaluating the Wachowski siblings. And my takeaway from them is that because of that assessment and me going through their filmography again and finally watching Cloud Atlas, and I've still never really fully talked about Cloud Atlas on a podcast or anything, because every time
I have not fully seen the movie.
It's good.
I've watched one trailer for it.
I think it's good. I think it's got some weird missteps, but I think it's an interesting execution of what they're going for. Speed Racer remains that one that actually one of our film school friends, Anthony, was the one who told me to relook at that movie.
From what I remember about Speed Racer,
nothing but good things. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I remember it being really fun. Just like a little bit of their, like, just a little too bloated, just because they love to put some of that indie movie into everything. But it was just like, when I was younger, I kind of didn't like that. But I think I should revisit that because I think I can digest that a little easier now.
For anything I didn't like about Speed Racer when it came out, I will say that it was one of the most fun IMAX watches I ever watched in my life. Because I was working at the movie theater. It was my second year working at the movie theater, so I got that ticket for free. Which, in retrospect, I regret not paying for it and giving the Wachowskis some money. But because we'll talk about it, because they're
promoting their film so much, they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah, but to me, like the concept of what the Matrix is as a trilogy also stems in some form or fashion of commenting on franchises themselves, and this one we're talking about today
very explicitly.
This one just decided to flat out. Yeah, we'll get into it, but I love what it does, but I have to like kind of like carefully draw my statement out and put up a disclaimer that I'm not angry at franchises necessarily. So.
And I want to frame this one with because I think that like some people went into it with a bit of a different perspective. They were wanting a different Matrix movie, For instance, Emerald, I experienced it with Emerald, and she loved the first half and fucking hated the second half. So the foundation of this movie is Lana Wachowski. It was done with Lana, and her sister was not involved, but she experienced the loss of her dad, her mom, and a really close friend. And then, all within a very close time frame. And then dealing with that grief, she just... apparently she said, woke up one night and just started writing this movie, and it was therapy for her. And it was a way to get through the trauma of grief and loss. And she was just like, I just like the two of these characters that I love coming together, and being just sort of a therapy for me, and revisiting them. And then also in a way, like a love letter to her parents and the trilogy. And, so it was very personal to her. And that's what really fucking put it over the top for me, is like, they came in going, we're not gonna do what we did. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna go out of our way to not do that. And then we're going to make a very sentimental art flick, and we're going to have a little fun with it. And so all of that just hit me the right way. But anyways, that's the foundation, I think, going into the conversation about it, because, for instance, Emerald fucking hated it because she hates Trinity. She was like, Mr. Smith is like the big enemy. Like, you should have had, I just want more of him. And I was like, I know. She's like, I just don't like Trinity, the love story. And I was like, that's the whole thing.
Emerald, are you saying you want more of me? Is that it? As you can plainly see, it's nothing but me. Me.
There's so much to break down. I think we start
chronologically
a little bit. It is a
lot. We can technically break down.
I want to break it into acts almost, because they're obviously 3 acts, but really it was the first 45 minutes are really the chunk, right? So the first 45 minutes shows us where Neo is now. And by the way, this is all going to be a spoiler cast. We're not going to hold back. No. It shows us where Neo is now, and where Neo is now is in a prison of everyday life. It was kind of very relatable. It was showing sort of someone who's basically depressed, taking antidepressants, just going to work and hating themselves because they hate the world around them, and just not knowing where their place is, feeling uncomfortable in their body. It was just so many things, but he wakes up, he's basically a game designer who made Matrix 1, 2, and 3 as virtual reality games that exist in the Matrix, which, by the way, fucking love that.
Oh, good. Well, and then they released the free PlayStation and Xbox One game where it's you can
I played that.
Dive in and play. Was it cool?
It's very cool. It's just a tech demo. It's not a part of the story. It was very meta. They literally talk to the camera and really cute. But you play very small shoot there. It's kind of on rails, and it's 5 minutes tops of actual gameplay. It's 20 minutes long, and then you can walk around the city, fly around, and it's a tech demo showing you what Unreal Engine 5 can do on PlayStation. Cool. And it was beautiful. There's this fully rendered city, and you can turn on all these different layers to look at the AI that's happening to generate the city. Awesome. Yeah, it's very cool, and it was really fun. And they had Neo and Trinity, so.
Is it something that they're going to expand into a full game, or is it just a tech demo for now?
Oh, no, it was just a tech demo. I feel like they really, really should. And I honestly think that now that the technology's there, I played Matrix Online, and that was just dope because I love RPG and the Matrix. But I think that with this kind of technology, they could make such a sick fucking Matrix game.
That'd be so cool. I just love the fact that they were let's release this as an integration piece of showing off what the engine can do, because isn't some of the visual effects in the movie generated from?
Oh yeah, I think so.
It's generated from Unreal, which is why they wanted to do that whole thing. And I love this whole cross breed thing that's happening, because it's two of my favorite things joining together. But
the Mandalorian does that too, and they pioneered that new technology that has the screen, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the screen that's powered by Unreal, and then when you move the camera, the background moves so that it's captured in camera, but it's a virtual background, and it's pretty fucking seamless. Yeah. But anyways, back to the Matrix. So we find him as a game developer who made the Matrix, which is another, if you think about a system of control, because you deploy the idea of the Matrix into the simulation, like we're living now, where everyone's like, we're in a simulation, right? But then that just means that people forget about it and don't think about it and don't question it in a weird way. So so he's just living this depressed life. Trinity is like a woman named Tiffany, which I think is hilarious. She just, I mean, like
my mother loved Audrey Hepburn.
The moment you say Tiffany, we're like, oh, she'd hate that name. Trinity would hate that name. But she's like a mother, which is a system of control, a mother with a hot husband. And they keep like sort of brushing by each other, just close enough to like be there, but not close enough to actually do anything. And it gets fucking weird. I think the first 45, 50 minutes were my favorite part because it gets so psychedelically weird. What did you guys think?
Yes. I agree 100%. The fact that like the opening of the movie is essentially, I'm going to say, a variant of the opening of the first movie, and you're seeing this version of Trinity being watched by Bug and I forgot his name already. It's fine, but so I love that there's this repetition of something that we've seen, but then the characters within it are like, this has happened, but like if this is Trinity, that like it can't be Trinity. This isn't happening, right? And I love seeing someone else in the world viewing the world the way that we were viewing the world, and it's like, oh my god, it was so fun to watch. And then
and it's a comment on reboots.
Yeah. Well, oh my god. Well, the whole first part is a comment on reboots. Go ahead.
Let's just tear the Band-Aid right off. Let's just tear this Band-Aid right off.
Yeah. They made fun of us before we could.
Yeah, and first of all, let me say this: it's the best iteration of that concept and idea that's been done since New Nightmare, which New Nightmare in this movie are paired very well. But also, I'll state this up front: I'm not against franchise films and reboots. What I am against is screen occupancy. And to an extent, because first of all, Nightmare Alley is not doing well because of another franchise film, but because of the screen occupancy is immeasured. Like,
oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry,
yeah, there's like very little.
What you're saying, the definition of that is that like that one film monopolizes and kicks other films out of a movie theater. I see what you're saying.
It's not about loving one thing over another. Like, it's not art versus superhero. It's literally just screen occupancy.
The theater has 10 screens and Matrix has 8, and
exactly. But
in this case, he's talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I like Spider-Man, so that's why I said I wanted to be careful with how I phrased it. But
Disney very specifically muscles out. They actually go in and tell movie theaters, you have to play it on 80% of your screens or whatever, and they will we won't give it to you. Yeah.
Which you'd be a fool to say, no, Disney.
Exactly. But then that fucks everybody else, right? It's a power move. It's a flex.
Even Nightmare Alley, which is literally also a Disney movie because it's from 20th Century Studios. But Lana, I love what she did here.
Yeah.
I love a good middle finger to the audience. I really do.
Same.
I love it. This movie is a big old middle finger right there. And the watching the dialogue play out in that opening sequence particularly is interesting because it is sort of commenting on fanboy or fan mentality. Yep. And I do appreciate when you are commenting on it in a way that, yes, it's going to push your button, but it is also affectionate, because we can't forget that Lana and Lily are just as much fans of these kinds of concepts and franchises as we are. It's a lot of the influence that they loved from those things wound up in that first Matrix movie.
Yep.
But the idea of seeing the first film in a certain alternate angle, and then also the idea of Abdul Mateen II as Morpheus, which
gay Morpheus, by the way. Flamboyant Morpheus,
exuberant Morpheus, unabashedly awesome.
He's a man doing an impersonation of what Lawrence Fishburne lives his life to be. It's perfect.
So
perfect.
I like how he just swaggers through that in between later on in the movie. So but yeah, the idea of a program being able to find sentience outside of the Matrix, which we explored obviously with Smith inhabiting the body of Bane.
Yeah, that's right.
And Reloaded and Revolutions. This one, though, they found a way to do it in a way of cohabitance. But before even that, you not only have that opening sequence, but as you talked about, the trippiness of what follows with Thomas's day-to-day life.
What I liked about that very specifically is that it's that was taking the original was apparently a heavily veiled metaphor for transsexuality because they were not able to be out of the closet, and it's how they originally said, or they said finally that the original pills, one is the blue ones are antidepressants, like they usually came in blue, and then estrogen pills came in red. So that was the original choice was transsexuality. Are you going to just numb yourself and accept everyday life, or are you going to become who you truly are? So in this one, they're much more explicit about it, but they also change it to be another comment, which I love, which was mental health. And it was very extreme, like very almost on the nose, where he's literally taking antidepressants and like hating his life, and also not feeling comfortable in his own body because he is literally in a different body. Like that's how they introduce him. Is I was like, wait a second, is that the architect? Because it was like an older guy with white hair, and I was like in these like shots, and it was very small, really, but like it was in the background, and you're like, what the fuck? He's not himself, is he?
Did you guys see this in a theater? Or did you guys all watch it on HBO Max?
HBO Max,
I watched it on my phone.
I went to the theater last night for it. Packed house. And at the now finally reopened Alamo Littleton. That's awesome. It took a year to reopen. Yikes. But when those things were happening, when flashes of people not themselves or older versions of themselves were appearing, I heard one person go like, "Did you see that?" It was like one of those things, like I've missed movie theater interactions. I love listening to people go like, "Oh my god, over there." Did
you get like a little tingle down your spine? Because like that's some of the most fun stuff for me is when you can hear other people getting those emotional.
Yeah.
It's like I do miss that.
I literally had a little side chuckle going like, like that kind of like warm, giggly feeling inside me. But
I had that in Endgame, and then but here I just want to real quick tell you that I had the exact opposite experience. We went to Spider-Man, and I found out. So we got there, we bought all of our popcorn and drinks and everything, and we went to scan the ticket, and I had put it in the calendar as the wrong day. So we came the day after the tickets, and they were like, sorry. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I went to the front, and I was like, can we do anything about this? And they were like, it's past the time. You're done. You got to just pay for more. And I was like, we're already here. Well, what's it like? And they're like, we only have the front 2 rows of the shittiest theater open. And
God!
They were like, we recommend you go on the side because if you're looking up. And I was like, okay, let's just do that. We did the side because apparently if you are up front and you're to the side, it's easier to scan. But that's like your eyes around. But that's only for us like a flat screen. And I knew that as a film boy. I knew that. So I went in and I realized the fucking screen was curved. And so the entire like when you're looking at it from the side, everything's just warped. So I was so pissed. And then these guys sat next to us, and they had their chin diapers down the entire time, and of course. and this dude was on his phone literally half the goddamn movie. It went off several times, and then he had like the flash on as his text like notification. It went off in my eyes like several. I was just like so enraged the entire movie that I couldn't have a good experience. But the thing about Spider-Man is that in the second half, it kind of didn't matter. It just pierced my heart with amazing. It like shined through the experience, and I was so happy with that movie. But I gotta share that. That was such a bad fucking experience. And I was I don't miss this.
Anthony remembered he was an introvert.
Yeah. No, I realized we have to go to the higher level screenings. You can't go to I was like, don't be where the riffraff is. Go to like IMAX, Dolby, if you care about your experience.
Yeah.
Like, because other people will give a shit. Like, if you go to the higher end ones.
I had that in Matrix last night too, because consequently there were people off to the left side of me because I was with my co-host from Real Nerds, Brad, and there were people who apparently, I guess, worked at the Alamo, so maybe they were new hires, but they were munching loud. They were swirling around their popcorn. They were banging down their drinks.
Fire them! Fired!
Yes. And getting phone calls in the middle of the theater. No. And like,
are you kidding me?
Brad does not put up with that. Brad doesn't put up with that, so he got up actively and moved to empty seats away from me because he needed to get away from that nonsense. So I, believe me, like, I love the Alamo, but like, if your employees are acting that way, then it's not part of your mission statement. But
I had a moment. I had a moment where I wanted to have the horse blinders from How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. I literally did that with my hands. I fucking did that. And then I was like, I wish I just brought strips of cardboard. But anyway, sorry.
But back into the Matrix discussion with mental health and that in particular, the analyst, we haven't even broached him yet.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Big idea.
I thought that Neil Patrick Harris was just going to be like in a couple scenes. Like, he wasn't marketed super hard. It seemed like he was just going to be supporting. And when he started to become the big fucking bad guy, I could not get enough. The best thing about The Analyst, I think, is that it's a complete departure. They went, we heard you about The Architect. We know that you thought it was fucking boring as shit for him to say long words in 10-minute long sequences describing choice and control. So we're going to have NPH do his fucking thing.
What are you talking about? Are you guys missing stuff like this? Vis-a-vis love, the systemic anomaly of the Matrix, ergo vis-a-vis, etc., etc. I love the Architect. I don't.
Oh no, I thought he was a great character.
Oh yeah, he's a great scene too. But
I think this scene chewing just fit this movie so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like that. There's more of a fun tone to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I still think one of the scenes I just can't stop thinking about over and over again is the scene where they're essentially breaking the fourth wall of how we wanted to, or how I want to make this movie. And how everyone wanted something so specific, because it's, and so the way the scene works, as you guys already know, is it's a group of people talking about the next video game, or they're talking about Matrix 4 and how they're going to make it. And they're like, when people think about the Matrix, they think of bullet time. And, and then other ones are like, well, no, it's the story. And so it's all these different realities or versions having the same conversation to come to the conclusion of what the next Matrix needs to be. And I love it because they're literally like, yes, we understand you want us to come up with something just as revolutionary as bullet time. Fuck you. That's not going to happen. How could we do that again? And they go through all these different things, and it's like, I guarantee all these people wanted these different things. And now it's towards the end of that scene, it's like, we're making what we're making. And it's just, oh my God, I loved it so much. And it was kind of a reminder, because I think it's funny that they keep talking about how the word The Matrix is so iconic with like one singular image or one singular movie, it's like, it's what you think of. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because for all different people, it fit as the movie that they needed for what it needed to be for them specifically, but it's so completely different for not every other person, but it's just so fascinating to see that. And I love seeing them address that so into the fourth wall. Like, it just felt like I'm looking into the camera and she's just talking to me, telling me this is exactly the thought process we went through when we were making this movie. And it's like,
and it's tied into the mental health thing. It's such a personal journey for Lana, where I think WB is literally like, they were developing other Matrix 4s without her, and
they had
kept
Zach
asking
Penn
them.
attached. They had Zach Penn attached to that, and I'm like,
no,
really?
Please don't.
Zach Penn's fine, but no,
he's fine, but he's like a middle of the road superhero writer. So literally working on The Flash for TV.
As someone who, I enjoy movies, you guys know. I also am not big on like knowing directors and all the things they've done and stuff. The game developers that were in this mind conversation of multiple conversations, do you feel like any of those were specifically personalities of directors? Because there was one where he started doing like an accent, and I was like, is this supposed to be a specific director? Like, are they calling someone out specifically with some of these things?
Maybe.
Because it was funny, because some of it was like, oh man, it's like, this feels very pointed at someone.
You know, like, but something that I appreciate about what the Wachowskis have done in their prior work, and especially what Lana's doing here, is that even if it's a direct attack, we're getting at a bigger idea here, and we're not here to be we're not here to be petty. We're here to break down the bigger idea.
Little petty though, because I love the Warner Brothers fuck you name drop was a goddamn masterpiece.
It was amazing.
What a slap in the face. I can't believe they let her do that.
I think the only reason is because, again, it's because their reason for allowing that is the same reason that any movie gets made right now, which is, but it has a name.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay, sure. Here's your money. Get us more money. Like that's the reason that got through. Like the only reason, New Nightmare, the way that happened was New Line was still kind of a smaller company anyway. So Bob Shea had no problem making fun of himself. But like this movie taking a direct stab at what Warner Brothers has been engaged in for the past 5-6 years is amazing that it got through. But again, it's in the same point, it's also connected to why this movie can even get made, is because, well, it's an IP that people know and love. And I mean, but within getting all of that, this movie is edited differently than all of the other films. It's one of the most unique editing jobs I've ever seen in a Matrix movie. It is decidedly, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but it felt like it decidedly tried to stray away from being as elaborate with its action sequences.
Absolutely.
Yep,
it didn't have the same fight coordinator.
Mm-hmm,
so it's missing, the martial arts is completely gone. Just no mention of it, no nothing, just absolutely gone. Which was weird at first, but then I kind of went, I know what you're going for here. And I understand what you're doing. It's we can't top this. And honestly, this is just a much more personal flick, so I don't want to focus on it.
Yes. Well, and why focus on
the gunplay was weird too.
Yeah, gunplay was interesting.
There was a lot of weird things about the gunplay. As someone who really likes guns a lot, I was like, this feels off. But
it was they were standing there just shooting at each other, and nobody went down, and it was just 5 feet away.
I think it's meant to show more of the fact that it's not real.
Yeah.
And that really those bullets don't actually cause harm. Because the scene where First Trinity, the very first scene where she does the wall run, but this time it's a guy shooting a machine gun, and she runs and then jumps and does a much different kick. It's you would have been dead. You would have been hit multiple times. But because there's a couple where it's pointed directly at her, flash and everything. And so it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it feels more like a video game. I think a lot of it
does feel more like a video game.
I was noticing too that they were taking some old what was it? It was the scene where Neo and Agent Smith are facing off for the first time. They were in the bathroom, and we realized Emerald was this feels like we saw this in another one, and I realized it was from the original Matrix. It felt a lot like the bathroom fight scene between Morpheus and the agents. And I was like, you know what that feels like is like video games recycling assets. They're patching in different textures. So I love that. I love they before it was kind of like a metaphor, the Matrix is kind of like a video game. Now here they're very explicit about making it feel like a video game. Because video games are now also at home, very realistic graphics. I think they were diving into that feel of it. So I think that's a little bit. The gunplay to me was I wish they had edited a little differently, because it just felt so low stakes because nothing ever happened.
It doesn't feel impactful at all.
Yes, right. That was I only have a couple nitpicks about the entire movie, which is actually a really good track record for it. But that was one of it. It just didn't feel impactful.
And for me is I have to think about things to dislike about it, because I really did thoroughly enjoy it. Like, even the whole fact of like the action being dropped off and like not as much of a staple of it, I don't care. It's like, if I want to see, I think I told you this the other day in our text, is like, I don't care if I don't see Keanu Reeves kick a bunch of ass outside of a John Wick movie ever again. Like, it's totally fine. Like, if that's just his thing he does now, because he does his best action now in John Wick.
Oh, by far.
If they would have brought him in and been like, hey, do your John Wick thing, let's recreate that Matrix style, it's like, that would have been stupid. Yes. And like, everyone would be like, okay, well, now he only does one thing. And I think I love this movie for him. I love this movie. Wow, that's sorry. Continue. Go, Zach.
I was going to say, like, I think Lana took that into consideration, because you don't you need to. I think, like, why this film. I mean, like, full disclosure, I have like virtually as of now no problems with this movie at all. It's probably making my top 10 list.
I want to talk to you. Have you seen it more than once?
No, I've only seen it the one time, so I'm aware that could drop. But
I do, same. That's why I don't want to watch it. But I do want to. Maybe we can talk through something that I have. But let's leave that as a cliffhanger. So let's go to a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about the second half of the Matrix.
I forgot our show had breaks.
See you on the other side. Hey.
Guys, are you ready? I've got something to sell to you.
Please.
Ooh. Okay. So, are you tired of being behind on lengthy series? Are you tired of being behind on the latest television craze? Are you tired of not being able to catch up with a story? Like, to grasp every intricate detail of something that lasts 9, maybe 20 seasons?
I am stupid like that.
All right. I've got something to pitch to you. It's called movies. Movies. It sounds a little bit revolutionary, but hear me out.
Okay.
It's stories designed with a 3-act structure.
This is
can go from anywhere.
So far.
It can go anywhere from 60 minutes to 4 hours, depending on what the filmmaker intends. And you go into a dark theater and you watch them, and you get your whole story in one sitting.
What?
And now here's the thing: you do have to pay for each one you do, but the benefits of it are a magical gateway to a world that you'll never experience inside your home and on your television.
Okay, well, you got me there.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I thought it was going to replace the drugs, but I'm just going to hit the drugs harder to try to meet that reality. Cool.
Yeah. Now, for the price of ranging from $8 to $20, depending on where you want to see these movies, you can go see them on either the smallest screen or the biggest screen. And do you guys like popcorn?
Uh-huh.
For a limited time offer of any time ever, you can find popcorn available in a concession stand that is inside these movie theaters.
For eons, human beings have been waiting for popcorn.
We've been rubbing sticks and stones together to pop our corn.
Not only
hours and hours of friction.
They have a new device. They have a new device that dispenses a carbonated beverage as well. This whole experience can be used if you simply get out of your house with safe precaution. You do have to wear a mask because you can't be a damn fool. But you do go there and you experience something that feels wholly unique, and it feels so affirming, and it brightens your imagination. And you don't have to worry about whether or not your spouse has already watched it before you watched it, because more than likely you're going together. unless you don't communicate. But, like I say, go to movies. They're really cool. And you don't have to worry about possibly getting an episode spoiled, because if somebody's spoiling the entire movie, well, then you didn't turn on your Twitter filters correctly. Yeah, that's movies. They're shorter than television.
Well, let's do The Matrix, because now you're like the longest running film series, right? Because, 20 years? Not 20 years. Whoa, wait. I was 11? 20 years?
Oh, my God. Don't even.
Hey, Brent, want to have a midlife crisis together? Come join me.
No, mine's the last. No, I want mine to stop.
This midlife crisis brought to you by movies.
Oh.
Speaking
not aging, and I am, so it's not okay.
What are you talking about? I've got stretch marks in places you guys can't see right now.
Well, I
don't want to talk about aging. Oh, Anthony, I've got an OnlyFans account for you. It's the worst one on the internet.
Speaking of aging, are you guys like sick of change? Just like aging and change and like all this crazy shit. Like I just moved interstate, like don't you hate it when like things get like a little too fantastical in your life?
Yeah, I do need some boring stability.
Yeah, that's right. Great. Okay. Well, then I have something for you. It's the Blue Pill by Acme Incorporated.
Ooh, tell me more.
You can feel like just a little bit like shit every day, and it won't ever change. The Blue Pill.
Wait, couldn't I just be a Republican?
Okay.
So.
So
we got hot takes today.
Does this blue pill also make me immobile in any way? Like, does it make me just unwilling to have any momentum?
If you're talking about erectile dysfunction, then yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not where I was going. I meant more like the motivation to get up in the morning, but...
Oh, no, you can get up in the morning. You won't have, like, the greatest day, but, like, it'll be there. It'll happen.
I do like a mediocre day. Count me in. How many of these blue pills can I find, and where can I find them?
Anywhere, everywhere, every day that we live in this simulation. Or you can send me, like, $420.
Oh, shoot. I've got Venmo up right now.
Yeah.
The best part of waking up is the blue pill in your cup.
Yep. I like to take my mediocrity with coffee.
You cuck.
Well,
yeah.
I love how the number is specifically $420 because I know what you're going to spend it on.
More numbing substances.
Hooray! The pill that makes you say meh.
Nice.
It's just a picture of somebody going like,
Here for taglines, and that's it. Here's an ad. Do you have tattoos? I don't know why I'm showing this. We don't post audio or video anymore. I just showed you all my tattoos, everyone. They're clean.
Even the one between his legs.
Yeah, that was the sexiest of them all.
Wow, they look so moisturized, Brent, and they look like they were just put on in your body.
Well, they weren't. This one that I'm showing you, Anthony, that people still can't see, but I'll describe to them now, is red. Ooh, the color red is a very difficult color to stick. I'm a tattoo
especially on
snob.
an elbow.
Especially on an elbow. If you want your tattoos to look bright and pretty forever, well, hopefully forever. I haven't reached there yet, but we'll find out.
Put a ring on your tattoos.
Put a ring on your tattoo. A ring of Lucky 13's tattoo bomb. And rub it on in because it's going to give you that nice, silky, smooth skin with those nice, pretty, shiny tattoos. I need to stop doing so much shit with my hands today.
I don't know what to do with my hands, though.
This has been quite the auditory experience and ad for you. Go visit Lucky 13's... Lucky 13's official Lucky 13. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now, Anthony,
Pop-timistic,
you're going to finish it.
The thingy. Did you listen to
We have code. Code you enter. Enter code at site. Google official 13 Lucky. Win 25% off for free.
For all time.
All guaranteed winners who enter our code.
It's free. You just have to spend money.
You just have to buy stuff.
Did you listen to the last episode? I think I did probably the worst.
No, yours was way better than the one I just did.
I don't know.
It was good. I liked it. This is how our show goes.
Yeah.
This is the quality people have come to expect.
That's right. If you disappoint them every time, at some point they won't be disappointed.
It's true. If you wanted professionalism, you came to the wrong podcast.
Nice little call, Anthony. I like that.
Anyways, let's get back to the simulation. Speaking of that.
plugging in. Oh, War of the Worlds?
No, that was supposed to be the Don Davis theme. And then you hear a shimmer of. I can't do digital coding sound effects. I'm not Michael Winslow.
Oh, Brent is running away to get his puzzle.
It made me think of Zach because Zach was talking about Steven Spielberg movies. And
that's right.
Oh, that's dope.
My wife and I did this one. It's so good. There's little gremlins hidden all over the place too.
I got so Emerald hasn't done puzzles in forever because of an ex apparently. So for Christmas, she was finally talking about puzzles again. I was like, "Ooh, you want to do puzzles?" But we have 4 cats, and that's kind of an issue when you're trying to do puzzles. So I got her for Christmas
because they solve it before you do.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
This is an ego thing, isn't it, Anthony?
Little bastards.
Holy shit, that was probably one of the funniest jokes that's been on this podcast. So anyways, welcome back. I guess we've been back for like 45 seconds now.
About puzzles.
But anyways, yeah. So let's move into kind of like the rest of the movie. So
it really is a 2-actor, isn't it?
I know. No, there's this. Okay, so the second act is kind of he goes back out into the real world, kind of catches up with everything. There's what I love to be Niobe comes back, which is a huge, amazing callback.
Was that pre-announced? I don't remember that. So
that was a huge surprise.
No.
That blew my mind.
Yeah,
I was like,
I know.
Oh my God.
Especially when they said, "Oh, it's been 60 years in the real world." I was like, "Oh, they're just doing that to fucking erase everybody. They're not going to come back." Yep. And then, bam, there's Niobe. I love that. So
good.
But so he goes back into the real world, sees Io, which is Zion without the Z or N.
Z or N.
For some reason. And Io is this badass new city that's like very bioorganic, like Zion with bioorganic instead of with machines, basically. So they're growing gardens. Sentient machines have now started to like rebel against, like there was like a robot civil war apparently, which is badass, but it was on screen for all of 1.5 seconds, and then
I wish they had showed Robot Lincoln.
I was trying to think of a Lincoln quote that would work, but it's not.
Beep boop bop bop 7 years ago.
Oh my God! It's just that's a Futurama fucking joke.
It's just the robot from the Disneyland attraction, but just stuck in Matrix Resurrections.
Oh, they got the wrong one though. They got the Trump one, so it's Trump saying Abraham Lincoln lines.
Oh no! So we have machines with this cool like nano machine thing. Oh yeah, by the way, it was just an evolution of the face from Revolutions, which I thought was a cool callback. Remember the baby face from Revolutions that talks to Neo like in the end?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a evolution of that technology, which I thought was really cool. And so they have machines walking around like they're humans. So there's like Morpheus. And Emerald swore that Morpheus hung dong a couple times, but I didn't see any dong. Did you guys see any dong?
Wishful thinking.
I know. That's what I said.
I wish that there was an ability to pause that at the Alamo Drafthouse, because then I would have just saw it on a 4K screen. So, but thankfully this is
a good bald head and seeing 2 on 1 body. Never hurts.
I mean, I have HBO Max, so I'm just saying my week might be taken up with other priorities. So, but
you got to catch the little details in the to appreciate the movie.
It's for
little.
film.
That's hurtful.
It's for film analysis, guys. For film analysis. We're discussing thematics and penises. I mean thematics.
Thematics and
phallus.
You were talking about like the cohabitation. I thought was an interesting idea that they bring into this because Niobe brings up the idea of like for years it was us against them,
right?
And I love the idea of Lana introducing cohabitation into a concept that was initially is perceived in my mind to be about this like rage against the machine, if you will, not to put too fine a point on it. And like, but now to see that it's a cohabitation thing, we're getting at this broader idea of peace. And, you know, Niobe's not wrong to my mind to want these things.
Right. Which is funny because I was like trying to think of what, like which was fascism, because I was like, oh, aren't the machine world, isn't the machine city like fascism? And then I was like, well, what kind of Niobe doing a MAGA thing over here though? But like it's a good MAGA, like, like you know, you get it right, but then it's also kind of fashion. But anyways, no. So the point is, with cohabitation, this is the first time that I felt, and I almost completely understood immediately in that time, was that this is not a continuation; it's an epilogue. Mm-hmm. That this movie serves as a cap onto this trilogy. It is not a continuation. It is in no way, shape, or it's like a love letter epilogue. And that's because I felt they were immediately taking the themes of like, well, Zion's fine. Like Io now is fine. Like we're fine. And that's okay. And the only drama and conflict is not to save it or whatever, because it's already good, is to keep what we're doing good. And so then of course, stakes. The storytelling stakes are, well, Trinity's body is back in the machine city. And so this is just a movie simply about Neo and Trinity's love and him needing to just rescue her. That's it. But of course, then the stakes are that the IO could go down because if they start a new war, etc., whatever. But it makes the stakes intensely personal, and that's what the movie is about. And that is exactly the point where I could tell Emerald did not want to watch the rest of the movie. But I thought that was really cool. It was almost like when you refresh on lore, like you go back and you're just like checking in at a high school reunion and you're like, everything's going well here. Everybody kind of turned out good, you know, like this is all kind of good. All right, cool. And then
Matrix
you
high
kind
school
of
reunion,
Matrix high school reunion. And then you kind of stir some drama up by going, well, I got to save my wife. And go ahead.
There's something about, I think there's something about the fact that we do like Lana actively ditches the world stakes tropes in favor of something smaller.
Yes, exactly. That's when I understood that it was the personal love letter from Lana.
And the only thing that like the one thing that I loved about how that executed itself was ultimately when the analyst is explaining what was happening when he was trying to design this new version of the Matrix, and he discovered that you can't keep them too close together, and you have to keep them within fleeting distance of each other, and that was just like crushing to hear out of his mouth, which was one of the reasons why Neil Patrick Harris is a great villain in this movie.
Yes,
the idea of like just enough apart. It's just such an interesting idea to lay into this franchise. Yeah. And a franchise, by the way, that has always been about love, which Anthony and I were talking about this months ago. Like that whole trilogy is based out of love in one form or another. They keep mentioning the concept of love. Sati's father keeps explaining what the meaning of love is. Like these things. Which
is funny because it's a machine talking about the meaning of love.
Yes, and
love that.
Which, oh, by the way, we didn't mention it, but like we get old programs coming back.
Oh, I love that. So I called that it was Sati, and I squealed in delight.
Yep, and the Merovingian came back.
Oh my god! By the way, I did not understand
in French. I
did not understand a fucking word that he said, but I love when he's on screen.
Yeah, the last things he say are something like sequel reboot bullshit. And also the idea of Jonathan Groff as Smith.
Right.
Yes.
I think that's my favorite thing.
The old that's the thing is I had mixed feeling about him because I really missed Hugo Weaving because he's just a phenomenal actor.
So good. Yes.
But I really did enjoy Jonathan Groff as Smith. So I had mixed feelings about that, and then I kind of understood why, because apparently first there was Hugo Weaving was doing a play, and Lana approached him to come back, and then actually apparently ghosted him after they were trying to figure it out. So I was like, oh, interesting. But then I figured out I was like, watching the movie, I think that the story was better served not switching actors. Because they wanted it to be a surprise, it had to be another actor, just like you're watching from Neo's point of view. So you see Keanu Reeves, you don't see the avatar that is actually he is inhabiting, right? But you're seeing it from his point of view. So you see the new avatar for Agent Smith. But then once that happens, you're like, it's not like they magically switched bodies. Agent Smith technically is still that avatar. And on top of that, switching performances kind of would have been very distracting, and I think take away from the gravity of the surprise in the first point. So
and he is openly an upgrade. That's the thing.
That's right. That's true.
He's openly an upgrade, and Jonathan Groff gives a charisma to it that Hugo Weaving decidedly didn't do in the previous films.
Oh man, I one of the things I still think about when I think of the first Matrix movie, though, is the scene with Hugo Weaving where he's holding Morpheus's head, and he's pushing into him, and like the water is coming down and everything, but like you can tell that there's sweat and that there's water, and it's like this whole mixture, and his intensity in that scene is like one of my favorite movies. Yes, it's so I must. Oh my god, oof. Woo, still gives me chills. I think that's what I miss, is that kind of stuff that he could sell so well. But I do agree that this movie in general, I would say, has a charisma facelift, because the first three movies were very serious,
very serious
story, very point. There is a lot more room for charisma and fun, and
it was just so fun.
Well, and it's funny because, like, if you look at the Wachowskis, you've got people that were creating movies and that have now very beautifully a new identity, that they are, well, not a new identity, but being true to their identity. And it's almost like she got to make a movie that is a part of who she was before, but now gets to stand into this new part of her life. And I love that you get to see the old remnants and the new, more open and beautiful person that got to make something that they fully wanted to make. And I love it. I love it so much. I just, I want to watch it 700 more times.
And I think we should also talk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Anthony. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think you're totally right. And I think that it was a specific choice to have a different feel, because it was a choice to go against, and I'm going to bring in another point too here, is that it was a choice to go against the feeling of the first three, but it's like a nostalgia love letter, and it also is a direct story, like retcon of basically like the hero's story. Like it very specifically goes out of its way to go, no, it's not about one hero, because he would not have anything. He would not be the one if it wasn't for Trinity. It's like, so it's actually them. It's actually the supporting actor. It's actually all of these people coming together to create a situation. And we're just now reliving it and having a lot of fun and loving it. Like that's what this story was about. And that's what made it, for me, was not going, I'm going to make another deadly serious sequel where I just explore the lore and like more stakes and it's just high impact. It's like, no, I'm going to relive it a little bit, enjoy myself, have some fucking fun, and we're all just going to like have a good time.
And at the same time reaffirm what the thematics of the first three films were. Yes. Like there's certain reaffirmations. Not everyone, obviously, like, because you mentioned it was about them and he wouldn't be anywhere without Trinity. Can we talk about the moment that's surely going to piss off a lot of men? Trinity can fly. Trinity can fly. And I loved it.
It's so funny too, because it's Anthony and Chandler and I were talking about it, about the movie before I had seen it, and Anthony had said he loved it, and then the next day he was like, well, I guess I spoke too soon, because now like everyone on Twitter is just like shitting all over it. And I was like, what? Why? And then so he told me the whole like love story thing, and I was like mad, like through text messages. I don't know how many text messages I sent in a row, but I sent like a little thing about pretty much everything he just said. I was like, he is not the one without Trinity.
That's
like all of these pieces, none of this
without even having seen
without
it,
Trinity. Yeah. And I was like furious. And then I watched the movie and I was like, I'm so glad that like those idiots just don't get it.
Yeah. I love that they just went, you know what? It was like such a really bittersweet ending. Fuck it. We're going to give them a happy ending. They get everything they want, and that's okay. And we're just going to have fun. Like, and now so Trinity is also the one. Fuck it. I don't care. Like, go. It's so rad. And
we're all the one. We just have to, unlock it. And maybe Anthony will unlock that in Zach. Yeah, maybe Zach is my Trinity and my cat is Aaron.
Shit, I didn't realize that. I could have made it here quicker today. And we also have like, I do like that there is an expansion of the mythology while firmly stating this is an epilogue.
Yes.
Like there is an expansion to where the lore feels complete. I feel like, again, I'm treading lightly here. In a world where we have an expansion of the Star Wars mythology that's gone even beyond the extended universe that previously existed before Disney bought the property, I think that it's fun to watch this have a concise value about it. This is what the mythology is. It can extend off if you wish, but film-wise, this is it. And we've given you a conclusion of sorts to how this war ended, what the aftermath of that war was.
That's right. Yep.
And also, quite frankly, what that means for the Matrix in general. Because at this point, the Matrix is sustaining itself on the idea that people don't want to be free, so they create that other system of control. But I love the line Niobe says was just like, there was peace. And I'm like, this affirms the fact that like, they're still letting people go, but there is still the attempt to keep them there in their old methodology. And I feel
that was due to the treaty. That was still the treaty was in place, which I thought was very cool. Like it doesn't take away from the ending of Revolutions. Like it still stands as it ended. And that's how it's just going to be. And then also on top of that, machines now also want to be free. And it's like, it's almost like over time, this is what wins. Like, choice wins.
Yeah. And love wins, which is the bigger thing, because the final scene of this movie is incredible. We have the analyst having failed, sitting in his chair. And by the way, let's just get this off the bat. The red pill movement is fully smacked in the face with this movie, and I appreciate that, because I'm sure that a lot of those ideas come from that one tweet Lana sent, and it's one of my favorite things to read, where you have Ivanka and Elon talking about taking the red pill, and
Ivanka, or is it Elon says take the red pill, Ivanka says taken, and then she just responds with
fuck you both. That just simple. Fuck you both. You don't. There is a sense of people owning the media or the art once it's released. But there is a line, and there is a line that when the director or the artist is firmly stating what this is about, you can't take that away from them. And so the idea of her taking power back for her art is one of the reasons why this is among my favorite films of the year, in addition to my fandom for this series and what it does with ideas. And I think that the ending of this film, this lovely, lovely line about you could paint the skies with rainbows if you so wish. And they were just like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's paint the sky with rainbows.
Well, that was a callback to Revolutions at the very end when there was a rainbow across the sky. But I also loved that it's a LGBT symbol, so they're just like, fuck you.
Yeah. The only way this ending would have been even better is if that final shot you had like just a stream of rainbows cover the sky.
I know.
In that final shot with glitter and everything.
Yeah,
I would have like fucking adored that. Oh my god.
They should have really ended it in like the meme verse and had just a double rainbow, and then that guy entered and be like, a double rainbow.
Go win it now.
I just quickly want to highlight two things that I loved. One, and I do have on a second thought, I was like, wait, what? I loved Bugs. I thought she was super cool.
Too. Yes.
Jessica Henwick, I want to say.
Yes.
I don't remember her name. Okay. She was great. I thought she was super cool. I realized like later, like I was just like, I don't think she actually had a story. It was almost like she needed to be there, and she was just a badass like fangirl who just like happened to get like really involved. Well, she didn't really have a story.
She mentions that. She says, "You're not going to remember me, but we ran into each other in the past, and you said,
that's right. Yeah,
I then knew that." When you met me, you would be ready to see this, and then she pulls down and shows the rabbit tattoo. Yeah, because she's the new white rabbit to follow. Yeah, and I love that she understands what her function is, and she's so excited to complete that function. Yeah. She also she feels like a representation of our generation because she's like, I've seen this before. I know it's going to happen, and then like the confusion of it. But then also like she talks about like the hope and stuff that he gave. And it's like, it's just, that was part of what those movies were. When I was younger, it was like, I bet it's a comment on fanboys and girls actually 100%. Saying this is to Lana and Wachowski's like, this means a lot to me. And like people who get it that say this means a lot to me. And that is what helps them get out of, their funk about whatever, the trilogy or whatever. Yeah. But I realized like, I loved that whole thing. And then I realized like, I think they cut something. It seems like they cut something from Bugs because I didn't understand what the fuck they did with Trinity's consciousness. And I thought that they were going to swap like Bugs and Trinity. Like, I thought that was part of the thing, but it seems like to me they cut it to make it not complicated because Trinity, to make the stakes and the storytelling happen, Trinity needed to be in her own body in the like third act. But like there was some weird thing where the plan was to like swap consciousness or body or something. And then I think that they, for pacing and complicated purposes, took it out because I feel like that would have wrapped her up becoming part of the process in a way, like completing her arc, which felt incomplete to me. And I kind of was really lost and I was waiting for like, is Trinity going to be in Bugs' body or like what the fuck? Cause they mentioned it was a thing. And then I just kind of was like, it's fine. We're back in. But that was my 2 out of the 3 nitpicks. But I love Bugs. She was rad as hell. She was great.
And then number 3, I just want to fucking say Swarm Mode was fucking rad. Oh yeah. That was like, I just watched Train to Busan and I was like, okay, that is like the best zombie flick I've seen. Matrix, this one was very close. Like that like zombie shit was humans throwing themselves out of the window was horrifying. Yes. And so, oh my God, I got chills thinking of it. What a fucking rad ass. The only thing that I would say that I is kind of my nitpick is like, it didn't go anywhere. Nobody died. Like there's no stakes. Like I think one of the crew members should have succumbed to the swarm mode because after everybody just kind of got out of it, it was like, great. Yay. We're all good. I don't know. It just felt like really wholesome and like, kind of fit with the theme of like, I just want a love letter wholesome epilogue. But I was also like, it made the swarm mode that was horrifying actually seemed pretty impotent. So anyways.
You needed a dozer death, essentially, is what you were saying.
Exactly.
I don't need a dozer death. No one needs a dozer death. You
got a dozer death.
I don't need another one of those.
You need that. You need that so you can have a moment where somebody goes, "No, I don't believe it. Believe it or not, you're still gonna burn." True.
You're still gonna burn. Oh God.
Can I
so we're all watching The Matrix tonight, right? Like,
oh my gosh!
Well, after Nightmare Alley, I'm going tonight. But nice. I do want to we've talked a lot about ideas, and like I don't want to I don't want to drag ourselves any further on our wonderful Xmas day. But I wanted to talk about my favorite thing about this movie.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll wrap it out with your favorite thing, Zach.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't want to take away from Brent either. Goddamn, I feel.
I've spoken more than I have in years today. So.
So I spoke earlier about the whole franchise mentality and like kind of where we're at in the cinematic landscape, but the bigger thing that I I loved about this is that, Lana and Lily have both been through a weird ringer with Hollywood. They've not, everything they've done after this franchise has never stuck with people because, frankly, they're ahead of their time each time they make a film. And I know that that's like a long stretch to say things like, they're innovating, but I really hope that people look at the Matrix Resurrections years later, the way we're looking at it today, as a comment immediately on what's going on in the cinematic landscape. So remove the politics, remove any other allegories that had to be reaffirmed and restated by Lana. I feel like Lana is talking about a state of Hollywood in a certain sense that needs an immediate addressing, especially in a post-COVID world. Mm-hmm. And the idea that these filmmakers, whether solo or together, have not been appreciated by their audience post-Matrix, frankly, in a lot of ways sickens me, because these guys, these gals, sorry, I fucked up there. Lana and Lily, what they have done with the cinematic landscape is bring a poetry to a genre that technically gets wrapped up in a lot of jargon and like coddling towards storylines and possessiveness, and they bring a spirituality to it, which I'm not a spiritual person unless it can move me in that certain way. And
I'm right there with you.
They did it. Yep. 100%.
They never fail to do that. They never fail at that job. And so I feel like the Matrix Resurrections in a lot of ways is my favorite entry in this series beyond the first one, not to take away from Reloaded and Revolutions, but because it possesses this identity about it that is devoid of the things we see on a regular basis in an MCU world, in a Star Wars world. And that's not to take away from them, but there is an identity here that I feel exists in an important way. And in a sense, it's a franchise film designed to hopefully end franchise films. It's not going to succeed at that, but I love the idea of Lana actively going out there and saying, like, you know what, I'm going to try my best to destroy the Matrix as it's currently existing in my world. I'm not going to succeed, but I'm going to damn sure try. And for my money, she succeeded. This is a movie that, like, I have to finish my top 10 list for the year. This is making it in the top 5 because it's too powerful a statement. Yeah. But anyway, that's it.
Zach, I think you need to watch. I know you're not much of a TV guy, but you should try Sense8.
Yeah, this has been on my list for a while. There's a couple of shows that Netflix has that I want to catch, and and please, guys, watch Cloud Atlas. I know it seems a little up its own butt, and it has one or more problematic elements to it with Tom Hanks in a particular situation, but
that's right. Yeah,
I do
a little bit. Sure.
Yeah, it's an issue, but I do think that it was done
for storytelling purposes, is sort of my understanding.
It's hard to suss out. I think it's like anything I talk about on my show. You have to do it with your own comfort level, but I do think that their oeuvre beyond the Matrix is worth examining. I think the only thing of theirs I still haven't seen is Jupiter Ascending, which I need to watch. But I heard that I know people have issues with it, but I'm going to go in with an open mind. And
is that the Mila Kunis one?
Mila Kunis and Eddie, one Edward Redmayne, the fantastic beast.
Isn't it Channing Tatum?
He's in it, but Eddie Redmayne's in the movie. Yeah.
Oh, is he really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is. I just call him Fantastic Beast Man.
You should.
Or Professor Stephen Hawking. But but that's all I wanted to say. I really enjoyed this movie. It was a thrill to walk out of that theater. Oh, and the post-credit scene with Catrix, or the Cat Matrix, was absolutely fantastic. Oh, have you guys not seen this?
Oh my god, I'm gonna go
to the
I'm gonna do that.
Remember how I said this movie was a middle finger to the audiences of America? Guess what? Around the world. Guess what? The end credit sequence is a fuck you to people who sit in the movie theater waiting for the MCU credits.
No way.
Oh
and God. I love it. I love MCU post credits. However, I also like this middle finger that she gives.
Oh my god. Okay.
See, and I think that's a lot of what was fun about it in general too. For me, is like we keep talking about like meta, and it's like if there was a metaverse, this would be it, and this would be the metaverse cinematic universe. meta cinematic universe, the new MCU.
The irony is that it's an MCU.
yeah, it's
the Matrix cinematic universe. Yeah.
But maybe it's just because I don't like to have a lot of deep thoughts, but like the funness really brought it to like a whole new thing to me. And maybe it's just because it's like when I saw the first one, I was 11. And so like the action in the movie was like super fun and cool. I'm an adult now, and the things that I think are fun and cool have changed slightly. I still think action is fun and cool, but something about connecting to a movie on an emotional level is far more fun and cool for me now. And so it was like having that same feeling, but from something different, and it felt completing for this series, and it felt so right.
That is exactly what I wanted to say. I want to go out on saying that I wrote philosophical essays breaking down the Matrix in high school, and I've mentioned that a couple times on this podcast, and it just fucking warms my heart that we can have a podcast where we are breaking down another Matrix film. It like brings tears. Like it's so stupid because nostalgia and reboots are ruining Hollywood, but at the same time, it's movies like this make me happy for the future of that.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
And if it brings you any comfort to remember that, like, there's nothing wrong with the things that are coming out. It's just we're talking about quantity here, and I think, but the good news is that shows like this exist to shine a light on the optimistic values of those things, while at the same time also recognizing where the future could ideally go. And I think that, if anything, that this movie, like, not to take it out on a punny note, but this movie filled me with a lot of optimism. It did. It warmed my fucking heart. I don't know what to tell you.
It did here too. Where can the people find you, Zach?
Well, when I'm not talking about franchises and middle fingers to an audience, you can listen to Yesteryear Ballyhoo Revue. The show where I break down Golden Age Hollywood films from a contextual point of view and a humorous point of view. The Pop-timism boys have been on for 2 episodes. They'll be coming back in a minute.
Listen to those episodes.
The Thing episode is one of my favorite because
so good.
Everybody's on fire. It's a fantastic.
It is a great episode.
And also, I'm on the Real Nerds podcast each and every week. We are actually rebooting our format. So look out for, in January, a brand new version of what the show is. So stay tuned.
Ooh, longer form?
Yeah. No, actually shorter. But it's... We're going to be... Well, we're changing it up. You guys will see how it plays out. But cool. I'm also announcing this year, I have... First of all, YBR has a series called Talkin' Tati, which will be breaking down the works of Jacques Tati. There will be more details as that comes out, because the second episode in that discussion will be dropping because it stemmed off of a Ballyhoo episode.
Nice.
But also, this is kind of in the works, and I don't want to put anybody on a firm confirmation here. But I've been talking with our friends at Pop Culture Brews. We are tentatively preparing to do a discussion on the life and works of Mel Brooks. So we will be. This is in conjunction with the release of his memoir, and also the current news of a new History of the World Part 2 series coming out via Hulu.
Oh, cool!
I'm so excited for that.
You guys need to figure out what you want to talk about in Mel Brooks's work, because I know we want you on.
Shit, yes.
Yes.
And I want to do Young Frankenstein or the Wild West one that I forget the name of.
Blazing Saddles.
There it is. God damn it! I literally had it.
I've never seen Blazing Saddles.
You've never seen Blazing? Oh, buckle up! It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. But yes, we will be doing the works of Mel Brooks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
amazing. Okay.
And I know some of those movies.
Fucking, I got Steve Rogers over here. I know. I got that reference.
I got that. I understood that.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in for yet another week of our ridiculous Pop-timism. You can find me at PirateCat on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Tattooed_nerd. That's me. That's where you can find me. Oh, you can also, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram as well, Pop-timistic, Pop_timistic. And then now also, if you guys would like to follow me for my photography skills, you can follow me at Pop-timistic Media on Instagram. And I'm starting to sell prints and stuff there too. So come take a look at some pretty pictures I took.
Oh yeah, we should sell that, by the way, in the ads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, that's a good idea. I can give discount codes, guys.
That's true. He has full control. He can give it to you for $0. He won't, though.
I won't. No.
Is it
trying to make a little extra money here, guys? Come on.
Is it an NFT? Am I getting that right? Is it an NFT?
I could make them into NFTs. I have not because I'm lazy and kind of stupid.
And also, as Keanu Reeves pointed out, they're easily replicable.
It's true. Take a screenshot, you know?
That's one of my favorite videos is watching him giggle over that.
All right, guys. Thanks for showing up, Zach. Really appreciate it. Always love having you on.
I love my
I'm going to go run upstairs and watch a good Matrix after credit scene.
I know, same.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Right. See you. Love you. Bye.
Bye.